Hello my friends, Luke here. I've got Game 2 of the Blood in the Sun tournament. My Orcs and Goblins, fresh off their minor victory in Round 1, are staring across the battlefield at some Dwarfs. Now, I'm kind of excited about this, because I've never fought the new Dwarfs yet. They look pretty strong to me. And in this case, this army, yeah, it's not a gunline army. I'm stoked. This is a combat army. He only has one cannon for war machines. The rest are combat blocks. So I'm laying up on the line and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be really fun. Then I kind of think about it and I'm like, you know, he's going to have army-wide rerolls against me. I'm not going to have that on most of my guys. And they're Dwarfs, and everything I've heard now is that they're really strong. But I'm here to fight, so we'll see what happens. So in Game 2, the deployment is against the diagonal. They had this thing going on where all the players in the tournament were divided up into two teams. There was light team and dark team. And it was just really to keep track of all the victory points your team got kind of determined one of the two possible outcomes of the next scenario. If light team was winning in the last one, then, you know, like the ways you could score extra battle points would change, and some of the variable deployment options would change. In this case, I think light was just kicking ass repeatedly, and that was the team I was on. So what this meant is, instead of deploying closer to each other, we had to deploy further away. So instead of the 12-inch deployment, you know, 6 and 6, I think it was a total of 15 or 18 or something. It was larger. So that's why I'm crowding the line. He's also crowding the line, but there's a significant distance in front of us. Here's what I got. Got my Goblin Hero on the Great Cave Squig, a Ragnarok Mangler, 6 Trolls, 1 Doom Diver. Then I've got a Squig Herd, a second Mangler, Black Orcs with the Flaming Banner, second Doom Diver. Got my Night Goblins right in the middle with their bows, 2 Fanatics, and the level 1 with the Dispel Scroll. Then behind behind the Chaff guys, I've got my Savage Orc Biggins with my level 4 and my Black Orc BSB. They've got magic resistance 1, so against magic, which is not a big deal. And this fighting dwarves here, they should have a 4-up ward. So that's what I brought, and here's my deployment. What do we got for the warriors? Okay, so there's a lot of runes in here. I'm very happy that my opponent gave me his army list afterward, because it was going to be impossible to know what everything was. So on the right side, we've got a group of Longbeards. They have the Stroller's Rune and a Runesmith in there with 2 runes of spell breaking and the Rune of Stone. What that's going to allow them to do is destroy a spell. Not just dispel it, but have a chance on a 4-up to destroy it. The Stroller's Rune gives these guys Vanguard, and the Rune of Stone is just going to give +1 armor save to the Runesmith. Next to them, he has like 39 warriors. In there, he has a Thane BSB and a Runesmith. So the Runesmith, you know, giving him armor piercing, but he's also got a Dispel Scroll on him, 1 Rune of Stone breaking, and then the Rune of Stone, just like the other guy. Then the BSB on his banner has the Master Rune of Grungni, which is going to give a 4+ ward to him, and all the dwarfs within 6 inches gain a 5+ ward versus shooting. He has a Rune of Stoicism, so those guys are going to be stubborn, and then he also has the Stroller's Rune, so that entire unit is going to Vanguard as well, which is pretty great. Continuing left, he has a big old block of Hammerers with his Lord in there. So the Hammerers have the Rune of Slowness, which means I'm going to have to subtract a d6 from my charge distance if I want to charge them. They have the Stroller's Rune as well, so they're going to be vanguarding. I love this. Whole big blocks right up in your face. His Lord, yeah, is a big guy. You can see, I don't know if you can kind of make that out in the model. He's got like a custom guy, so it's a Lord up on 2 Shield Bearers, which is pretty great. He's got the Rune of Fire for flaming attacks. He has the Rune of Might, which is double his strength versus tough 5 or higher, so that's kind of scary. He has the Rune of Parrying, which I believe gives a -1 to hit. Doesn't do anything with parrying. I think it's just a -1 to hit. And then he has 2 Runes of Fortitude, which are going to give him +1 toughness and a 5+ ward. Those Shield Bearers also give him 2 more wounds, so that guy is just a hoss to try to kill. Next to them, he has a cannon with the Rune of Forging for rerolls, and then he has a Gyro Bomber, a custom one too. It looks like the Red Baron. It looks awesome. So, you know, normally you see the gyrocopters, but here we got a bomber, and I think those things are cool. So I'm excited to see it. And then finally, he has Rangers. They pop up on the side here. Now, I had seen that he had a little group of Rangers, and I deployed so he couldn't be within 12 of me. But as part of light being in favor, it affected the scout rule, so you could go within 10 inches, and he had just enough movement to get on the board, or just enough range there. So, yeah, that was just my bad. I should have been paying more attention to the scenario. So here's how he deployed, and then this is after Vanguard and just movement. So Vanguard allows him to move within 10 because of the scenario, just like the Scouts did. So he was able to Vanguard right up and then get to go first. So this is Dwarf 1. The Vanguard's up, moves, and basically that's it for movement. He flies his bomber up. In fact, I think this was all just Vanguard here, and then this is Dwarf 1. I think all he did was keep everyone where he was, to be about 10 inches away, and then flew his bomber up to just kind of hold the line with them right there. And that's basically it for movement. We go to shooting. The bomber shoots its clatter gun off screen at the Doom Diver and misses, and the cannon shoots the Mangler Squig, who wants it to get in those lines, and only does 1 wound, thankfully, so Mangler's still alive. Quick turn, Orcs and Goblins, turn 1. I'm able to swift reform and face and kind of just move within 8 inches barely and throw a couple Fanatics out. 1 Fanatic falls short, the other one kills 4 of the 5 Rangers, and he passes panic test. So now hopefully I can shoot at him. So the big action in the middle. I have no charges. In fact, I back up my main lines here because I'm like, well, he wants to come at me. Let's soften him up. So I back my Trolls up, back my Squig Herd up, back my Savages up. Ragnarok and the hero on the Cave Squig on the left are kind of just moving around. I want that Cave Squig guy to go right toward that cannon. And I can't really hide the Ragnarok. He's just way too big. The cannon will always be able to see him. So he's just going to be ready to flank. I send my Mangler right at the bomber, and I roll a ton of distance, hit the bomber, bounce through, destroy the bomber. It's toughness 5, but I got like 6 wounds, killed him, and then bounced through and killed some of the hammerers as well. So I've softened that target up, and there's no bomber. So I think that's a big old win. The second Mangler, the one more toward the middle of the screen, he doesn't get very far, so he just kind of scoots out, and hopefully they'll have to go through me. And that's really it for movement. It worked pretty well for me. The Black Orcs angle up a bit, as you can see, and you can kind of see a better picture of how I reformed those Goblins to shoot at those Rangers and pop the Fanatics out. Going into Magic, it's 7 dice to 4. So first thing I do is throw a couple dice at Sneaky Stabbing on the Squig Herd. I just want to see if he'll try to dispel it. I throw 1 dice and I get my little magic extra die. It goes off, he lets it go, and I end up stealing a die from him, so he only has 3 dice to stop me. So I throw 6 dice at Foot of Gork, and I don't get Irresistible Force. He uses his spell Breaker Rune to dispel it, and he's not able to break the spell. Thankfully, he rolled a 1 instead of that 4 up, so I still have Foot of Gork around, but I did not get the spell off. I did want to just squish the hell out of that lore, though. That would have been pretty great. Going over here with shooting, all those bows, yeah, nothing. Not a damn wound, so I'm going to have to deal with him. Shooting over here, the Ragnarok had March, so I shoot. I don't think I killed anyone. 1 Doom Diver actually did land and killed a few Hammerers, but the other Doom Diver exploded, and that's the turn. Dwarf turn 2, I've kind of just marked down there with the Doom Diver having exploded. That was the target for this Ranger. He decided to charge the Goblins. Why not? He's got nothing else to do. And I stand and shoot and don't do anything. So he's in, and he could actually win that combat. Goblins suck. But thankfully I have hatred on him. Going over here with the main combat, so literally this is the only picture I have of Dwarf turn 2. You have to, he had very little to do, and so, you know, we're flying in the tournament, you have to bear with me. Here's what happened. He charged in over here just like we talked about, Stand and Shoot does nothing, and then the only other thing he does on his turn, you can kind of see in the upper left, his warriors walk on my Mangler just to get rid of it, and he takes 15 hits and 11 wounds. So this is a picture of Greenskin 2. You can see on the left side, I've done my 11 wounds. I've taken off a whole rank of that horde. I'm feeling good about that. So now we go to Greenskin's turn 2. I'm still in combat with the Ranger on my turn. You know, back when he charged me, it was just kind of I won. I didn't do any wounds to him. I won from static combat res, and then he held. I think he has like leadership 9 or 10. Those guys aren't going anywhere, but we'll still be locked in combat there. So for Orcs and Goblins, my Squigs end up charging the Warriors now. I have softened that target with the Mangler. I want to keep eating them. I'm going to have hatred on them. 2 strength 5 chomps. I'm ready, and then I'll blow up, hopefully get rid of this horde. My trolls fail stupidity, which pretty much sucks here, because I wanted to get some charges in. So with them failing stupidity, they just kind of bumble forward, and that's it. I only declare the one charge. My Mangler comes bouncing back, luckily, right through the Hammerers and takes out 6, which is awesome, because now he's random movement. Who knows where he's going to go, but that got really, really lucky. And then the 11 wounds I was just marking from last turn, where he walked over, because I didn't have a good picture of it. During shooting, this is a picture from that last turn. The only other thing he did in his turn was shoot my Arachnarok and land 1 wound at it. So back to Orcs and Goblins' turn. We go to Magic. I don't remember what the dice were, but the first thing I try to do is throw a couple of dice out at Hand of Gork, and I miscast. I think I threw 2 or 3 dice at it, and I got a miscast. So I move the Arachnarok, where you can see, just get him right behind the Hammerers, so I'm not threatened, and I can pick my targets here. I'm probably a fair distance away, so I won't blow up when those squigs blow up. I feel really good about that. But I roll the miscast, and I roll Snake Eyes, and I do not want to lose my caster this early on. So I use my tournament reroll for this game, and I reroll the 1 to a 6 or something, and it was just an explosion, which killed a couple savages. So thankfully, I still have my savage here. And I also have a 4+ ward to the explosion because it's a magic explosion and I have MR1. So don't lose too many savages. Looks like I lost about 3 or 4. I think the Black Orc BSB, I failed Animosity and he killed a couple too. So between the explosion and the failing Animosity, I'm just down a couple. Not too bad. Could have been way worse. The Doom Diver aims and drifts away, so I don't really kill any of the Hammerers. And we go into combat. It's bloody. We both have rerolls. I have 2 Strength 5 attacks coming at him. I kill 9 before he gets to go. I think it was before he gets to go. And then he kills 14 back at me. He's got Army Hatred, just swings. Tons of squigs die. And I lose combat, and I stick on a 3 rerollable. Manage to make it. So I'm hoping that's actually pretty good. I should still blow up, I think, when I'm all said and done. Unless he kills me to a man, which is actually possible, but I'll get more attacks. I won't have Hatred this time, but yeah, that's not bad. I'm really whittling this horde down, so I feel good about it. In combat over here, he lands 1 wound, and that other wound, that die marker, was from when I miscast earlier in the turn. So he lands 1 wound, but we win, and he sticks. So I am eventually going to reform this. I just apparently am forgetting to do it now. Dwarf turn 3. This is just stupidity on my part. I did not want these Black Orcs having anything to do with these Longbeards, and I just totally forgot to back him up. You know, I was focused on the action in the middle, so I just left him there. Now, admittedly, he needed to roll like a 10 to get in, and he did it. So, a big old long charge, but there was just no reason that had to happen. I could have backed up and made that a 12. So, my fault, and I think that's going to go really bad for me. Black Orcs are fantastic. In some situations. In situations like this, where he has +1 strength because of the charge, and he has a whole bunch of attacks instead of combat res, no way. He is just going to punk me. He adjusts his hammers just a little bit, so when he turned, I'm not in his rear, but I'm in his flank. If I charge with the Arachnarok, so that's, what are you going to do? And then the cannon is literally shooting at the ground directly in front of him and bouncing the cannon through. He decides just to go for that instead of any sort of grape shot, and he manages to put 2 more wounds in the Arachnarok. So I'm pretty lucky that I've only taken 3 so far. We go into combat up here with the Black Orcs, and yup, I kill only 3 because this is what happens with Black Orcs. They whiff a lot, and even with extra hand weapons, I only kill 3. And he breaks me and runs me down, and I am gone. That is just my fault there. I should not have been in that position. In the combat in the middle, I end up killing 9. He finishes me, and I blow up. And you know what? I don't think I actually blew up. I think he killed me to a man. He did kill me to man, so this is wrong. Ignore the fact that the Mangler is there. I was trying to piece this together with bad notes later. That Mangler is still there. That explosion is totally inaccurate. So he just reforms on his turn, 5 wide with 4 in the back. He's got 9 remaining, and that's it. So we go to Greenskin's turn 3, and this is weird. So I have to piece together what happened from pictures from the last turn. So my Mangler is still there. I'm thinking, okay, he's got a group here. I've got savages in the front, I've got my Arachnarok in the back, and I'm thinking, let's see if I can terror him. And I make a mistake, and I charge the Arachnarok first in the rear. He's like, I'll hold. So, okay, he passes his terror test. I shouldn't have been focused on that. He's leader 10. With the BSB, of course he's going to pass that terror. So he's holding. Cool. So I charge the savages in the front. He decides to flee from that. And he does, and he flees through the Arachnarok, taking, I don't know, maybe he took like a dangerous terrain test or 2. But now he's an impossible distance away from the savages, and he's on the other side of the Ragnarok. So I'm thinking, well, you touch a unit that's charging you, you're going to die. But we looked it up. We couldn't figure it out. And there's nothing. I mean, to me, it felt like he should have died because I'm like, well, yeah, if you get touched by one of the guys charging you, you're going to die. But no. In fact, we were wrong. He gets to flee. So that was just a mistake on my part. Had I charged with the savages first, he probably would have still bounced through. But then I wouldn't have had to try to redirect my Ragnarok in. So this is just my fault. Yeah, just my bad on this one. I got to remember to charge the savages first. So he charges through. He's on the other side of the Ragnarok, and my Ragnarok fails his redirect to try to go into the hammerers. And as you can see here, with this other arrow, I charged the trolls into the front of the hammerers. The Ragnarok failed. So now we go to the magic phase. I'm trying to piece this together by pictures, so apologies as if you had noticed the Ragnarok was bouncing around. So we go to the magic phase, and I try for a small hand of Gork again, and I'm going to try to... I don't think there's anyone to foot, so I think I just had like a low magic phase, and I threw it at hand of Gork. 3 dice, 4 dice, something like that. I miscast again, and I don't have a tournament reroll. So I move the Ragnarok. I move him right behind the hammer so I can help out. And then I roll Snake Eyes again, but I don't have my tournament reroll. This is what happens when you back up on the first turn. Gork doesn't want anything to do with you. He is pissed off. You are going to miscast so you explode. No backing up. You just got to go forward. So I pick up the dice, roll my Snake Eyes, pick it up, I explode, kill 4 savages, and then get sucked into the warp. Learning my lesson, never back up with Orcs and Goblins. And that's it for Magic Phase. So we go to combat, and I get a whole bunch of hits on his hammers, or what are these guys? Yeah, these are the hammers. Get a whole bunch of hits, and these are my wounds. Out of all those hits, 1 wound, or wounding on 3s. I couldn't believe it. Oh. His lord dishes out a punishment, so do the hammerers, and I break, and I just love this picture. Like, oh, where'd the trolls go? Oh yeah, they got run down by the dwarfs. God, it was just terrible luck. Again, the luck just turned. At this moment, you can tell right here is when the luck turned. When I got sucked into the warp, and when I couldn't roll a wound, that's when Gork says, man, that's what you get for backing up. So I get run down, and we go over here. This is the rest of the turn. So I didn't have a good picture before this, but I had charged my goblin into the cannon, and he ate him up. You know, well, I guess the squig ate him up. He had a great weapon too. So I killed the cannon, and the mangler decided to play really nice with his random movement. Instead of going into the Ragnarok, he went right through the fleeing warriors and stopped right in front of them. So I bounced through, killed 4, and now if he doesn't rally, he's going to go right through them. Which is exactly what happens on Dwarf turn 4. I kill all the... So, because it's distributed per shooting, you know, he gets 3d6, but I didn't roll very high. I think I got like 7 all said and done on 3 dice. It was kind of a bad roll. And so I kill the unit. The Longbeards, or the warriors are gone. I put 1 wound on each of the BSB and on the Runesmith there. So, they're fleeing. I gotta hope they go off the board at this point. And because they're still in the unit, we decided that they were going to need Snake Eyes to rally at this point. It's kind of one of these weird things where I did get the points for the unit because all the warriors are dead, but those 2 characters are acting as a unit. We kind of had a discussion about it, and that's what we came up with. So, on his turn, he charges, failing to rally up top. Now he charges his hammers into the savages, and I'm thinking, hey, that's going to be okay. I mean, I've still got a horde of savages here, but when we look at it, he's actually got 2 full ranks that have to go against his lord, who can't hit anyone else. And then, so I've only got like 3 savages and their supports that can actually hit the unit. So this is probably going to be better for him than me. And he's jack super high strength because he charged. He turns, does a swift reform and faces my goblins there, and I'm just going to have to run when the time comes. And we go to close combat. Oh my god, I was not expecting this. He had rerolls, I did not. But oh my god, so I went and had to direct a bunch of attacks at the Lord, like I said, and didn't get anything through because he's super high toughness. No way was I going to do anything. I ended up killing 5 of his hammerers, but that was it. Even with my BSB in there, just couldn't do much. He had straight up rerolls against me, and he just went to town. I don't remember how many he killed, but when it was all said and done, he broke me, even having a BSB and more ranks than him. I broke, Lost Frenzy broke, and he ran my ass down. And that was with the reroll. I think it was like a 5 rerollable, and I couldn't make it. He ran me down, and that was so many points that went in there. I was totally not expecting that. If you have a small group like that and you charge savages, you are in trouble. But he was able to angle well, so I had to hit the Lord. It just worked out well for him. This, I thought I had the game in the bag at about turn 3. I was doing well. I had gotten one horde fleeing, and my Mangler was practicing, and it was doing everything I wanted. I was blowing them up. I had my Ragnarok moving around, and then it just went to crap. I thought I had this game, and no. So we go to Greenskins turn 4. I'm thinking, I got to try to make these points back. So I'm going to charge and try to terror him or charge him in the ass. And if I charge him in the ass, he only gets a couple of hits on me. Even with that Lord there, you know, maybe he'll kill me, but it's time to get some points. I failed the charge. The Doom Diver here, you can see on my turn, the only other stuff I was able to do, the Doom Diver tries. Now, they're too close to shoot at, so I'm aiming 12 inches out. The cannon can shoot anything in front of them, but the Doom Diver has 12 inches minimum range. So I aim 12 inches out, and I'm going to try to drift back, and I'm not able to do it. So this is basically just the end of my turn. We go to Dwarf turn 5, and he charges me, and I flee. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get away. They're Dwarves. He rolls a damn 12 and catches me and gets all those damn points. These are the most mobile Dwarves ever. It is, at this point, we're having a great time and laughing. Like, I just cannot believe how this game is going, but we are having a good time. Believe it or not, these sons of bitches rally on Snake Eyes. It was unbelievable. The stupid BSB and the Runesmith turned around, and now my Cavesquig had overrun, or I guess maybe on the last turn had just moved up to threaten them. They're right on the edge of the board, and they rally. Or, they were going to go off the board. They're not on the edge, you can see there, but they were totally going to go off, and then they rally on Snake Eyes. So we go to Greenskins turn 5. I'm like, screw that, I'm going in. I got to get some points here. If I can make it, yay. I mean, who cares if I lose it at this point? Everything else is dead. So I go in. His BSB lands 2 wounds on me, and I kill his BSB, but the Rune Priest sticks. So he's still there. I'm not going to get the points for the little priest, but I think I have the BSB and everything. And I think this is the last turn of the game. I'm like, yep, that's great. But we look at the clock, and we had 20 minutes left. And you can't start another one if you only have 15. And I'm thinking, oh no, that sucks. I didn't want to slow play it, but I was kind of banking that was the last turn of the game. But unfortunately, we had to go to Dwarf 6. He charges me. I don't remember. He must have turned around on his turn. I must have not had a picture of it, because he charges me. The Ragnarok is not able to flee because he's immune to psychology, and that's going to be 300 points that he's going to get. There's no way I'm going to kill his Lord. I'll direct all my attacks at him, but I mean, I'm going to have to get really lucky with the multi-wounder here, and I think he's going to go before me too, so this is going to be bad. Those hammerers are the right target to take out that Ragnarok, and I already have 4 wounds on me. And so that's what happens. You can see the explosion there. He just creams me. I don't land anything on the Lord. His Lord didn't kill me outright, but I don't land anything on him. The multi-wounder doesn't do anything with his 5 aboard. And so Ragnarok's dead. He gets about 300 points. Only other thing left to do is to talk about the fight up here. We go, and look at that. My stinking goblin manages to finish him off, which was actually pretty nice because, you know, then it removed all question on whether the unit was still alive. The Rune Priest was dead, the BSB was dead, the whole unit was dead. When it was all said and done, I had killed 1,176 points, he killed 2,584, getting more points than my army was worth, and all I had left was a goblin on the board, and I think a Doom Diver. So that is it. It was a stunning 3-17 loss, and like I said, I thought I was going to win this one. If you had asked me to put money on the game halfway through, I would have bet heavy that I was winning this, is because I felt like the luck was with me. But, yeah, like I said, don't back up or you're going to piss Morgan Gork off. But it was a really fun game. I like fighting combat dwarves. Holy crap, dwarves seem really strong. Now, he had a bunch of tooled up guys and very, very little chaff and runes on everything, but my God, the parries and the strength, it's just out of control. Awesome. Really wish I was playing dwarves now. Anyway, that's game 2. Pretty strong loss for me, so 1-1, and we'll go to game 3 soon. Thanks for watching.